So here on the podcast No Dumb Questions, we have this really interesting cultural thing that happens, and it has to do with the subreddits. We have two subreddits. The first one is r/No Dumb Questions, and the second one is r/NDQ, which often gets confused with a more popular subreddit called No Stupid Questions, and there's this thing that happens. Would you like to explain it, Matt?
Yeah, the thing that happens is that confused strangers from around the internet stagger into r/NDQ and ask entirely random, unrelated questions.
And they're amazing.
Most of them really are. And the thing is, if it was on No Stupid Questions, they would still be funny or fun. But the fact that there's this bustling conversation going on and everyone knows what it's about, and then someone just bursts in and asks these kinds of questions, that's what makes it magical.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so we've started doing this thing where we pretend like it's a bar called the Twisted Knuckle, and everybody's like a local at the bar. And when somebody bursts into the room, the code thing to say in order to signal to everybody else that clearly this is a stranger that's like coming in drunken from a blizzard outside is "Welcome to the Twisted Knuckle." So when somebody in the comment section says, "Welcome to the Twisted Knuckle," that means, hey, clearly you're not from around here. Pull up a chair. Let's talk about your thing. And it's amazing. So
yeah, and so it's clear, every single person who bursts in like this, I picture looking like crazy old Maurice from Beauty and the Beast. They've got the lantern and the disheveled hair, and the door slams open, and there's a storm out there, and everyone's inside, by the fire, drinking and having a nice time, and then he starts ranting about some beast.
No,
that's what I picture.
No, for me, it's Doc from Back to the Future. Hey, the Libyans! I don't know how they found me, but they found me.
The Libyans!
That's who it is for me.
Morning! Okay, one more note before we get into this thing. The questions we are about to read are the questions exactly as they were posed. So, I don't know, some of these are going to be kind of goofy, some of them lowbrow, some of them sophisticated, but we're just going to try to answer them honestly, right?
That's the goal, yeah. The goal is to maintain an air of intelligence and respect at all times. The intelligence may be faked, but...
Okay, there you go.
The goal here is to not to be crude or crass or anything like that, but these are legitimate questions that somebody walked up to us and asked, so we're going to do our best to answer them, again, with intelligence and respect.
And mild ribbing.
Yeah, and the bar thing is just a way to get into the question, right?
Well, and joke about it a little bit. I mean, come on. The joke is you staggered into a place where there was a conversation going on and asked random crap. I mean, okay, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay to needle somebody a little bit about that. All right, good. All right, let's do it.
So who's going first? So we're gonna set up the bar here. Let's get the glasses out. Yeah. There you go.
I'm happy to man the bar the first time around.
So you're gonna man the bar, and I'll bring a question to you.
I'm swabbing a bar right now. I just need you to burst in and demand an answer to a question.
Okay, first set everything up. Get the sounds going for me.
Mm-hmm. There we are. Let's put in a little bit of background chatter. There we go. That sounds pretty... clinking glasses.
Yep, there's clinking.
There we go. Sounds like a bar. Okay, burst in. Go.
Hey. My name is...
Well, now. Slow down there, partner. Welcome to the Twisted Knuckle, where the disappointment is always half off, and the advice to wayfaring strangers is always free.
I've got a question. My name is Zaranon. That's Zarunohn. And I just need an answer.
Of course it is.
Just hear me out. Ready? My question's about a jar fart. So, if I farted in a jar and kept it airtight, away from UV light, etc., would it still smell like a fart after a couple of years?
Why? Just why? You seriously led with the jar fart? Is that the whole question?
That's the entire question. This person thought of this question in their brain. They went to the internet and they're like, I need answers.
You can't Google crap like that. I need to find a thriving community of people who are enjoying each other's company, kick down the door and demand answers to my jar farting.
I just started sweating, man. I just started sweating. It might have been so hard. Okay, so I think it's actually a legitimate question. I've often thought about this.
Really? Now define often.
Once a year.
You think about farting in a jar once a year.
No, I don't. I think about the nature of smells and how they work.
Oh, okay.
So this is actually a really deep question, and I have thought about it. So, for example, how does your olfactory work in your nose? Is it called the olfactory gland? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. They're sensory organs, aren't they? It's not a gland because it doesn't produce a thing. It's just it's a receptor for airborne oil, isn't it?
Well, that's the question. So are you sampling the gas or are you sampling the particles in the air? Like, are there, in that particular flatulent case here, are you sampling little micro turds in the air or are you sampling the partial gases in the air? For example, methane. You know what I mean? This is deeper than it sounds on the surface.
Yeah, okay. I think it's got to be both, right? I mean, we don't know, and that's part of the fun of the Twisted Knuckle is why would a bartender know this? So we just have to speculate. But I would have to think that there are at least two types of smell. One would be strictly chemical in a gas form, because you have to assume that the trouser filter catches most of the turd particles, and you're not breathing somebody else's micro deuces every time you inhale a fart, right? Please tell me I'm right.
Okay, so I used to do this test at work where...
Need you to confirm that I'm right? Just if you could just put my mind at ease there.
I'm not going to confirm you're right. So,
oh, no.
So we used to have this test that we ran at work where we would do an explosion outside of a vehicle and we would try to determine how dangerous things were for people inside the vehicle.
Okay.
This was actually a very complicated test, and there's two ways that you could test for these gases.
Okay.
So machine A would be a filter. Imagine a piece of filter paper about the size of $50, and you would open up this little canister and you would put this filter in there, and the filters are rated for different particle size. And then you'd close it, and then on the other side you would put a vacuum pump that would just be pumping air through that filter at a certain rate, a certain volumetric flow rate. And then you would sample for a certain amount of time, and at the end of the test, you would go and you would collect the filters, and then you would take them off to a lab, and you would study them and see what kind of particles you collected. So that was the type of device you would use for particulates, dust, and things of that nature. The second thing you would do is you had these really interesting, like an oxygen sensor in your car?
Sure. The thing that no one fixes?
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
It's actually really important. So you're trying to get the stoichiometry correct in the engine. And
wait. The what is geometry?
Do you remember in chemistry when you had to balance a chemical equation?
Sure. I've messed with that lately, trying to get a little kid pool chemically balanced. I got curious about it. I've been learning this week.
For like chlorine and stuff?
Yeah, trying to figure out how that works.
For fish?
No, for swimming and fun.
So this is a little bit different. So stoichiometry is when you're measuring if a burn is complete, like if it's fuel rich or if it's oxygen rich at the end of the burn. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically you would run a calibration gas across this little sensor, and then you would be able to tell after the fact the parts per million of what are these contaminants are that could hurt people. So those would be the gases in the air, and the other thing were used for the particles. So in the jar fart question, the question is, do the particulates settle down at the end of however long? And the other question is, those gases, I think it would still retain the odor, but the particulates would probably settle out.
Yeah, and if the particulates settle down, could you vigorously shake it to refart the fart?
That's a good question. It is a good question. I mean,
yeah, I actually wonder if a vigorous shaking would make it more foul. But isn't what you're smelling with the fart really methane, though? I mean, it's not oil bound; it's gas bound.
I don't know the answer to that. Like, I don't know how the human smell sensor works, and I want to talk to a doctor about that. That'd be an excellent Smarter Every Day.
Okay, so we're assuming this jar is absolutely airtight, right?
We've done 15 minutes on this question. We need to move on. All right,
because it's fascinating.
Okay,
no.
Final word. I'm out. Thanks,
Final
guys.
Word.
I appreciate it.
Tough.
Yeah.
Okay, see you later, son. We're just gonna hang out in here and keep working this one through. Just you be out there, Destin. So my final rendering on this would be that I think there would be some kind of breakdown of the concentration. I think there's some kind of thing that happens beyond dissipation, and it would not have the same smell concentration given enough time. And because the particulate matter would be such a small percentage of a fart, I'm going to say no, it would not smell like a fart 2 years later.
I'm with you on this one. Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm with you on this one.
I have a question that's coming to mind right now. I need a bartender. I have a question.
You have to go outside and you have to go back in.
I know. You got to reset it. You got to reset it. I have a question. I can't hold it.
I'm resetting the bar. Hold on. Let me wipe this. They got a little spot over here from Zarunon or whatever. All right. There we go. Hey guys. Hey there.
No, please. Stop what you're doing.
Welcome to the Twisted Knuckle. What's the matter, man? Calm down.
I don't have time for these silly pleasantries. I have an urgent matter that I have to come here to ask about immediately, because if I were anywhere else, I couldn't get the answers I need. I am in college.
Got it.
I'm a college student. My name is Henry Fry. College is very difficult because of all the things that demand my time. I'm a rising sophomore at college. I'm trying to get an aerospace engineering degree with the minor in history. I had problems this spring where I got overwhelmed by work for classes and practices. I know there are a lot of people here who've managed the class, sport, relax, fun of college, and I was wondering if anyone would share some wisdom. I'm using a new calendar system, so hopefully I can stay on top of assignments, but how do I work ahead? I've always struggled with procrastination, and I can say I'm going to work between classes at the library, but I always seem to find a way to get distracted. How do I change my habit?
Henry, sit down. Sit down, brother.
Yeah? Thank you.
All right, so let me get this straight. You're just busy, and you're just now starting to be an adult, and you're trying to figure out how to prioritize things.
Yeah, I'm a rising sophomore.
Okay, rising sophomore. Got it. So what I think you need to do, Henry, is you need to look at all the things in front of you and divide them up. I call them 50-meter targets and 100-meter targets. The 50-meter target is that thing that's coming at you really fast. Kind of think of it like zombies attacking you, right? You with me, Henry? Still there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, so the zombies are coming at you, and you kind of knock down the zombies that are going to hit you first. So if it's 50 meters, that means it's close to you. You attack that problem completely. You don't focus on anything else, but you knock that one out. And then you look around, and if there's like a 75-meter target, you knock that one down. But if there's like a little zombie that really can't do anything to you, and it's like coming at your legs or something, you can just kind of wait till it gets there and kind of kick it off, right? Don't worry about those. Only go for those high priority things that are like going to destroy you if the deadline hits you. You with me, Henry?
I'm with you.
Okay. And then occasionally look out there on the horizon, see if you got any big targets coming along. Have you ever played the game Plants vs. Zombies, Henry?
No, I manage my time well. I don't have time for video games.
Well, like in an airplane or something. Like if you actually need some downtime so that you don't just go crazy. I could see a person doing that on an airplane.
I could picture it. I mean, I know people who've played it.
Yeah, so you always look for the cone heads on the horizon, and you look for the big, gigantic zombies on the horizon.
Yeah.
And you give those attention far off. But like that would be like a term paper, for example, or a big exam coming up. So essentially what you want to do to manage your time is you want to knock down the stuff as it's coming at you really fast. You don't want to be shooting point blank at stuff. You want stuff like 2 days out, right? So you have some buffer there. Sometimes they're going to get up on you. You just got to deal with it. But for the most part, that's how you do it. Just prioritize, knock them down, and then move to the next target.
That's really good advice, buddy. I'm going to admit, I think Henry actually is asking a very legitimate question. I just also find some irony in the reality that if you're having trouble focusing and prioritizing and getting things done, going on Reddit, that might be part of your problem right there, my friend. That's a black hole.
There's an app. I know the app does not exist on a Windows computer, but there's an app for Mac called Self-Control. The icon of the app looks like a spade with a skull in it, but it's a fantastic app. You can basically blacklist any website you want, even Twitter, and it will, you can set a timer. So you can set that timer and say, for 2 hours, I'm going to do nothing but work. And then after 2 hours, it'll tell you when, okay, your self-control app is done. You can now go look at Reddit for 10 minutes or whatever.
I want to take a stab at answering Henry's question as well. Here's a built-in trick that I've learned. Go Tuesday, Thursday heavy on your schedule.
What do you mean?
It's tough as a freshman, but from sophomore year on, you can almost build out an entirely Tuesday, Thursday class schedule. And I think the advantage of this is that, one, you only have classes 2 days a week. Maybe you have to throw in an evening class somewhere. So you only have classes 2 days a week, which means you can use those other days to crush it and be hyper ready. The other advantage is that I think the 1 hour and 20-minute block is actually more effective. And I'm saying that as a student and as a college teacher. That hour and 20 minute, you get into flow and you stay in it just a little bit longer than you do with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday 50-minute block. And you keep locked in better than you do with the 3-hour, like Wednesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. mega block. I think the sweet spot is that hour 20, especially if you're dealing with concepts and there's some engagement or discussion. Your professors can allow for a little bit more give and take, and they can go beyond just relaying facts. That hour and 20 gives time to go beyond facts and into interpretation, which is then going to help you get it better. And so we can talk about all kinds of time management tricks for being more successful in college. But the thing that I saw that caused students to be most successful was getting the principles and the concepts, setting up their study habits and their class schedule and what professors they were working with so that they weren't just getting and repeating the facts, so that they would transition out of high school, you tell me thing, I tell you thing back mode, and more quickly into college. I need to be conversant in this. I need to think in these new categories of this new discipline. And when you start to think in those categories, then your brain is always doing your homework. You get a little bit of spare time, you just think. You don't have to have a book or anything. You just sit and think about what you're working on in class, or write down one good question that has to do with the work you need to produce. Remember the question, and then you're sitting in line for 10 minutes instead of getting out your phone and shooting some balloons with monkeys. Just think about the question and keep gaming it out. And you will be amazed how much more efficiently you get through your work if you use the blank spots in your schedule to think and conceptualize about the stuff that you're working on. And so that, I think, is a really, really subtle difference. But, a lot of times I'll talk to people who write, or, I do a lot of writing myself. And people will be like, what are you doing? Writing. Well, your fingers aren't on keys. Well, yeah, but fingers on keys is like 0.01% of writing. The vast majority of writing is actually thinking. We just call it writing. Likewise, the vast majority of studying and being a student isn't writing notes or sitting in a class. It's just thinking about the content and learning to think in those new categories. Does that make any sense?
It does. It's very interesting. I haven't thought about that, but you're absolutely right about the Tuesday, Thursday class thing. You have that buffer day, Monday, before you get back. My first day of class is tomorrow, which is a Tuesday. Did I tell you I'm taking a class I'm super excited about?
What is this one?
It's called Fusion Propulsion.
Oh,
so
yeah. You sent me the description. You texted me the description. I understood several of the words.
Well, that's where I'm at, too. I mean, I know very, very little about the concepts of this class. And so I know there's something especially important called a Z-pinch. I have no idea what it is, but I'm excited to just sit in class and learn. I'm very, very excited about that class because I'm so ignorant on the topic. That's kind of exciting to me.
It's going to be fun, man.
But you're right. Yeah. So I'm going to think about that. So you're saying think about the concepts that I'm learning in class is what I need to do? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Game it out. If you give yourself a conceptual question, well, like, I like to fish during my work week, which sounds like not work. But the vast majority of my writing, my making videos, producing content, writing sermons, I just need time to think. I need to clear the mechanism, and I need to think. Now, I don't just sit there and reflect on like nature and who I am, like a Matthew McConaughey Lincoln commercial. I'm actually thinking. I'm putting together outlines of my thought in my head. And honestly, you come off a lot better when you do it that way, I think, than when you start by writing everything down. When you write everything down right away, you commit yourself to a certain window of thought. When you're gaming out the outline and the big picture stuff in your head, you're giving yourself more leeway to just engage with the content. And what your professors want, to anybody who's in school, what a professor wants that's worth their salt is to see that you can think in the categories of the discipline, that you're informed enough that you can start to wrestle with the questions and understand the unanswerables and just be conversant. Whereas in high school, really, overwhelmingly, what we need from you is know states and capitals and know these facts and, repeat these formulas, but you start to really understand the meaning later, and ruminating on that is going to make you equipped to answer questions, interact in class, and it'll make the actual fingers to keys homework go very, very quickly. That's what I mean.
Another thing that I see here is the panic that's happening to a sophomore or rising software in engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Engineering is hard, and what this person is experiencing is the hump. The second semester of your freshman year, first semester of your sophomore year, that's where it gets really, really hard. You're starting to take things like mechanics of materials, statics, dynamics, thermodynamics, heat transfer. Those classes right there are make or break. They're weeder classes. What are the equivalent weeder classes in history?
Okay, I would say nature of historical inquiry, where you actually think through a philosophy of history, or you do comparative historical philosophy, because it's the first class you take where you're not really talking about names and dates and battles and interesting stuff that, kind of tickle the same parts that are happy when you watch a good movie or hear a good story. Yeah, I would say that's it. When you start thinking abstractly about the act of doing history, that tends to weed people out a little bit. And then advanced research methods is the other one where, frankly, what weeds people out is just an inability to ask the question. Lots of people come into college and they want to write term papers on things like Abraham Lincoln, a very good president. And that's just not helpful. Like we've already got that one covered. Thank you. But, like the harder questions of like, how did Lincoln's debate style maybe negatively affect his ability to manage his generals in the early going of the war? Now, that's a more interesting question. I'm just making crap up. I don't know if that actually is even worth research.
That sounded pretty good, Whitman.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, those are such different questions. And if you get to a place where, as a junior or a senior, you can't ask those questions, it's not that you can't do research. It's just you don't have anything to research because you can't think of anything to write about. So that's kind of where we see the weeding out happen.
Cool. Another thing, Henry, you're on your own for the first time, and it gets hard. This is the part where it gets hard. You just got to step up to the plate, put on your participants, and go for it. You got this.
Yeah.
Here's a glass of milk. You can leave. You can leave the bar now.
Yeah. That's good bartending. Cut him off at 0. Okay, we're trying out a new sponsor this time around. So this episode of No Dumb Questions is brought to you by Mack Weldon. And because this is a new sponsor, I'm just going to read exactly what it says. Mack Weldon is a premium men's essentials brand that believes in smart design and premium fabrics. Mack Weldon's mission is simple: to make sure all your basics and beyond are smartly designed, and shopping for them is easy and convenient. Okay, buddy, honest first impression. You went and got some Mack Weldon stuff. What do you think?
I was impressed. I didn't know what to expect, but I've wore a shirt every day that I've had this stuff. It's fantastic. Did you get the silver brand?
Yes. I didn't know that was a thing. Now I know that silver is an antimicrobial. And so by weaving silver into this shirt that I've deliberately tested all week by wearing no matter what I'm doing, it's supposed to not smell. And it's incredible. It should absolutely reek at this point and doesn't. How is that possible?
How many days have you wore it?
I'm on day 5.
Are you serious? You actually did
I'm on
the test?
Day 5. Yeah, I wanted to know. It sounded like a gimmick, like copper bracelets or some stupid thing like that. So I tried it, and it doesn't smell. I would go bury my face in it right now. I'm telling you, it's pleasant.
They build space underwear with silver in the cloth. And so the moment I found out there was an option for me to get silver-lined underwear from Mack Weldon, I jumped all over it. I'm wearing it now. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel weird. It's not like one of those goofy workout shirts or something. It's just a really comfy, legitimately good-looking shirt that you can wear every single day. And I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not. I mean, it says everyday shirt, and I'm treating it like it. I love it.
Yeah, how did you do the sizing? That was the question I had. So when I went to the website, I was like, okay, this is a big deal. I want to get this right. And so what I did is I went to the reviews.
Yeah, same here.
On the reviews, people said, I am 6 foot, 180 pounds, and this is the size I ordered, and it was either perfect. It's like what was the old nursery rhyme? It was just right. What am I thinking about? Goldilocks.
Yeah, it's Goldilocks.
Yeah, so they had a little meter there, and I kind of treated it like Goldilocks. I'm like, oh, this person's my size. This is the size they ordered. What did they think? And they're like, oh, it's a little big, or it's a little small, or it's just right. And I would go to the just rights, and that's what I ordered. And it's just right.
Yeah. What did you get?
Okay, so I got the pants. Not the pants that you wear out, but like the lounge kind of, I think they call them the Sunday pants or something like that. I got a polo. I really needed polos. I was thinking about the other day. I'm very happy with my polo choice. I got I think it's called Eclipse Blue is the color I selected. Obviously, total Eclipse Blue. And I also got 2 different types of underwear. Wanted to try those out. And I got 2 different shirts, t-shirts. Have you ever had somebody comment on a plain colored t-shirt? Because it's happened twice to me.
No, but I could totally see why with these. What did they say about your shirt?
They're like, that's a really nice shirt. And I was like, it's a t-shirt. And they're like, yeah, but what's different? And I was like, I don't know. It's just a t-shirt. Just the cut's really nice. And it looks like nice fabric. And people can tell. So that's the thing with Mack Weldon. It's the basics, right? They're kind of redefining how people shop for the basics.
I'm in. I am really, really in. We are both skeptical when new sponsorship suggestions come in. And I don't know, I have clothes that I like and things that I buy. And it's hard for me to picture going and getting clothes on the internet that are going to work. I've got a bit of a build to me, and I like to try stuff on. And everything I ordered was perfect.
That's awesome.
I really like the system. And you know what else I like?
What's that?
That there just isn't branding plastered all over it.
Yes.
It's high-end. I mean, these are the comfiest clothing that I own are what I just ordered from Mack Weldon, and it's not even close.
Yep.
And it's just not littered with a bunch of dumb logos and stuff, so it works with anything.
So there's certain fabrics that I like and other fabrics I don't like. So all I did was went to the website, and each different line has exactly what it's made of, and you get to pick, and you just pick your color, and then you pick your size, and now I know what my size is for these types of stuff. That's how I'm going to get my basics now. So what's our promo code?
It's real simple. You just go to mackweldon.com, and then when you're ready to get stuff, enter the promo code NDQ, and it is 20% off straight up the whole order.
Yeah.
That is incredibly good.
That's good. Yep. And so that's Mack with a K, MackWeldon.com, MackWeldon.com. Enter the promo code NDQ, get 20% off your first order. What do you recommend? Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, I have stuff I want to recommend. I do recommend trying out one of those silver t-shirts. I'll let you know when it stinks, but it still doesn't. And then I got the Sunday lounge pant and the radius pant. And then I got the perfect shorts.
So they have that silver technology in the polos as well. I got a polo long sleeve, the Intrepid long sleeve polo, and the silver crew neck t-shirt in white. You know, when you wear like good stuff, you feel like you're more confident.
And that's the thing that stands out to me about this brand. I feel like this gives you the best of both worlds of that dude impulse to want to dress down and just feel comfortable and relaxed, and also not looking dopey.
Yeah.
I feel sharp and presentable in stuff that would normally be dressed down. And I think that's right what they're trying to hit with all of their designs. And I love it. This is what I'm going to wear.
So this is a premium men's essential brand, but ladies, if your husband or boyfriend or just a friend, your dad, I don't know, somebody that you love, if you want to get them something nice that they would appreciate, this is going to work. It'd work on me.
It is 20% off the whole order. So feel free to go nuts on this one because you're really going to dig it. The promo code is NDQ, easy to remember. And once again, that's at MackWeldon.com. I'm very, very excited that they reached out and that we get to work with Mack Weldon.
I am too, man. Thanks, Mack Weldon. Appreciate it. And thank you guys for supporting the sponsor because that supports the podcast.
Let's go field more inebriated random internet questions.
And try not to shame ourselves like we did in the first half of this show.
Oh, we've got so much worse. That's what I love about being a bartender at the Twisted Knuckle. You never know what's going to walk through that door.
Hey! Hey!
Speaking of which.
Hey, my name is Elroe. E-L-R-O-E. Elroe. Got a question.
How can I help you, Elroe?
All right, so in the hit single by, well, it's not a single, it's a great album by Charlie Daniels called The Devil Went Down to Georgia. The devil offers Johnny a golden fiddle in exchange for his soul.
I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul because I think I'm better than you.
How much does Johnny make from this transaction should he sell the golden fiddle?
I'm so glad that question prompted you to enter this fine establishment.
Well, in the last episode, or whenever it was the episode before last, you were talking about how good you were at Star Fox 64, and you said if Lucifer, Lord of Darkness, were to challenge you to Star Fox 64 for a golden N64, you would have a golden N64. And I
absolutely would.
I have been thinking about that. And then, lo and behold, here's Elro walking in, staggering into the Twisted Knuckle. He's wearing Liberty overalls, I guarantee it. And he's asking about this.
Is that a brand? Should I know what that is?
You don't know what Liberty overalls are?
No, what's a Liberty overall? I mean, it sounds like the kind of thing I'd love to wear.
Oh, God. Every so often, I just realize we're very, very different. So, okay.
Do a podcast.
So farmers and old guys typically in the South, they wear Liberty overalls a lot. Farmers don't wear Liberty overalls. What am I talking about? This is just like it's old man pajamas is what it is. So
is it like a coverall, like a work coverall, or is it like the old engineer blue and white stripe overalls?
No, it's like pants that have the chest is also denim, and then they've got the two things that go over your shoulders, like suspenders that click on to the chest.
Yeah, that's what I think of as being overalls.
Okay. So Liberty.
Whereas a coverall is like a Carhartt getup that you might wear hunting, where that zips up in the front.
Yeah, just Google Liberty
like
overalls. I mean, it's got a little logo right in the middle, and there's a little zipper. You know what's interesting is prior to September 11th, I was in college, and I wore Liberty overalls every once in a while. And when I would mow the yard or whatever. And we went to Fargo, North Dakota, and I remember wearing my Liberty overalls and keeping my pocket knife in that little chest pocket. I just remember that because when we got to Minneapolis, Minnesota, I spilt root beer all over myself, and the lady at the desk says, "Oh," because I look like an idiot. She's like, "Where are you from?" I just said, Arkansas." I didn't want her to think bad of Alabama. Anyway. How much is this golden fiddle worth, Matt?
Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. How big is a fiddle? All right. A fiddle, that's just the Appalachian name for violin, right? The difference between a violin and a fiddle is how you play it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. If it's not, it's something like that. And by the way, several people reached out to me who I know from the past to say, yeah, you would beat Lucifer, Lord of Darkness at Star Fox 64.
Really?
So there was some confirmation. But Flute Freak 7 was ranked 7th in the world on Star Fox 64 for a period of time. I don't know if I could beat him. Yeah. So I'm hoping that is not Lucifer, Lord of Darkness, and that it's someone much nicer. I don't like getting showed up. So, okay, fiddle. It's like most of arm length. It's kind of heavy and thick. Is it filled in or is it hollow in the middle? Is it just like a normal fiddle? Or is it like a Monopoly game piece?
Lucifer, Lord of Darkness hands you a fiddle for a fiddle competition. Of course it's hollow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great point. He's not cutting you any slack there. Okay, all right. Did I ever tell you that Crassus, the member of the Triumvirate there at the end of the Roman Republic, there was a reward out? I think it was Crassus, by which, no, it wasn't Crassus. It was another dude. There was a reward where the Roman Senate wanted somebody dead, and they would pay the weight of his head in gold.
Really?
And the dude who killed him brought back a guy's head filled with molten lead.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, Crassus got killed by having molten gold poured down his throat, like that Targaryen turd in Season 1, but it's not the same story.
In real life, this happened?
Yeah, Crassus got killed in Asia Minor in the 1st century BC, and I'm pretty sure as recompense for his reputation for
greed?
Being greedy, yeah, he got gold dumped down his throat. I think the other guy, that was 2nd century
God, what
BC.
An awful way to go, dude.
Oh, I would just hate it.
You would cook from the inside.
And especially just the irony of having all that gold right there. Think about what you could do with it if it were just delivered in a more friendly way.
That makes me think of those anthills. I was at the McWane Center for Science in Birmingham a couple days ago, and they pour molten aluminum into anthills, and then they dig them up, and you can see the tunnels and paths that ants use.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, the ants would hate it.
Yeah, those ants have to hate it.
It kind of makes me wonder what happened to Crassus.
Oh, yeah. When you pulled all that out, I wonder where the gold went. I wonder which tubes you could see in there when that hardened. Ew.
That's crazy. Okay,
You found out.
I can actually answer this question like with engineering because of my engineering buddy. He's here.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't going to come up with an answer, so thank you for bailing me out.
Can I go get him?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me go get him. Hold on. Jeremy, you here? You got an answer? All right, Matt, this is my buddy Jeremy Fielding. He is starting to do engineering stuff here with us at Smarter Every Day, and he's awesome.
How you doing today, sir?
He is awesome. I know Jeremy from hanging out. We tried to solve engineering problems at ThinkerCon.
Ah, yes, we did.
Yeah, things are good, man. Did you figure out the golden fiddle issue?
I sure did. I started with a model that Destin sent me of a fiddle and came up with the mass, but I wanted to be sure that I had something that was really authentic.
What do you mean? Hold on.
Well,
let me explain to Matt what you've been doing. So Jeremy's really good at this program called SolidWorks. It's like a 3D CAD software, and you can download the models off the internet. So I just left a fiddle for him in there, and I was like, Jeremy, I need help. And so we got to tell Matt what the value of this fiddle is. What do you mean?
Well, okay, so first I sectioned it to make sure it was hollow on the inside. It was modeled correctly, and it looked pretty good, but it was pretty large. And so I downloaded a sample of fiddles to get an average weight.
No, you didn't.
Yes. Because I want to be sure that I've got something that's qualified, right? I don't want to just have a sample size of one.
So let me get this.
You don't want to get cheated by Lucifer.
Exactly.
So let me get this straight. You found the volume of the fiddle and then converted that to gold?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I'm with you.
So,
you want to hear the numbers?
Yeah, I don't know, Matt. What do you want to know?
Yeah, well, I want to know the process, and I want to know the result, and I want to know how rich Johnny is.
Okay. Well, I made a couple of assumptions. Number one, I assumed that every part of the fiddle was made out of gold, including the strings. Okay.
Okay.
And that this was an average size fiddle, that it wasn't like this ridiculously large fiddle he was playing.
Okay.
All right. So with that being said, the mass was 15,398 grams.
15,938?
398.
Okay, so 15.4 kilograms. Okay, that means nothing to me.
All right. And then, so that gave me a volume, once you hollowed out the inside and everything, of 797,000 cubic millimeters.
Okay.
All right. The price of gold, as I just checked it, is $49.08 per gram. That gives you a total value of $755,655.30 for the fiddle.
Whoa.
That's not that good a deal.
What do you mean? That's way more than
he
I thought.
risked his soul, Destin. Like, you understand that even, if this is all a big, gigantic Southern myth, it's still his soul. Like eternal damnation.
I was thinking
being owned. I mean, who knows what Lucifer would do to him?
I was thinking it was going to be 100,000.
The risk-reward ratio is horrific. Okay, what would be, Jeremy?
Yes.
What would be a substance that the fiddle could be made out of that would make risking your eternal soul worth it? Is there anything?
Wow. Well, I'm going to say no.
You know what I just realized?
Huh.
Jeremy is a 3D CAD master. He could figure out how much a golden N64 would be.
Well, now that's more interesting. But I've made some decisions recently based on recent information. I'm not going to be wagering my soul against anything made of gold. Maybe like a blue whale made of gold.
Okay.
I want a blue whale made of gold. That's what I'm competing in Star Fox 64 against Lucifer, Lord of Darkness for.
Have you ever thought about these deals where people risk their soul for things? Like, how does that transaction work?
How do you mean?
I don't know. It's like this is a common tale where people bet their soul against things. That's just a weird. Yeah, that doesn't work. Can't do that.
Well, isn't that called the Faustian Bargain? I don't know if that's the first place that was employed, but I mean, this is really old, like 15th, 16th century, something like that. I mean, it's a legend that goes back even further.
We're counting on you to know these things, man. This is my first time hearing that.
I'm doing my best. It's about an alchemist or something who way back in the day, because alchemy was like a legit part of science for a while. You just figure out how to transmute a substance into gold. And I think the story goes that the devil was working on some deal with like a magician or alchemist or something where he would give him the keys to all that gold or how to make gold in exchange for his soul, maybe? I don't know. Maybe there are multiple versions. But I think anytime you talk about a deal with the devil, you're talking about a Faustian bargain.
There's a whole Wikipedia page on Faustian Bargain. Okay, forgive my ignorance. Who is Faust?
Wasn't he an alchemist?
I know nothing about Faust.
I don't know either.
Okay.
I guess I've just always assumed he was the alchemist who was making the deal.
That will make a third one stumped. I've never heard of that before.
Ever. I haven't either.
So yeah, that's the deal with the devil thing, I think.
Jeremy, thank you very much. Do you mind doing one more thing? Do you have?
Sure.
Okay. How long would it take you to figure out the value of a Nintendo 64 made of gold? How hard would that be for you?
It would not be very hard. I'd need to find out the exact dimensions of a Nintendo because the likeliness that one would be modeled internally correctly, which would be my Achilles heel, I'd want it to be right.
So we're just going to go solid then.
Okay, so a solid box I could find out in a couple minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that with the RAM expansion pack for extra gold.
Can you seriously go
and
do that?
If you do a controller to go with it, I'd like it with the Rumble pack.
Ooh.
Okay, so I need to write this down. We've got an order now, and
Yeah.
This is how Jeremy works.
Well, I don't
man.
want some stripped down garage sale version. I want like what I would get out of the box with the Rumble pack version that comes with Star Wars.
okay, now there's a couple different versions. You know, they went retro for a while, and then they made a little box. What size of Nintendo we're talking about? Like the original?
I want. No. Don't get me an NES. That's too small. That's not a good deal for me. I want the Nintendo 64, the N64.
All right, Nintendo 64
Thank you.
with a controller.
Yeah, with a Rumble pack in the controller.
Okay, Rumble pack.
Thank you.
Dude, he's taking.
And I need a golden copy of Golden Eye.
Of course.
Can
Needs to be
you
in
render an image of this? Do you have the ability to render an image that we can like tweet? Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. It depends on how
you can
good
find
a
a model
picture I
out
can
there.
find and all that good stuff. Yeah,
Okay,
something
cool.
to work from.
This is how Jeremy works, man. So Jeremy has started doing basically engineering with Smarter Every Day, and I don't know, how's it been? I walk in and just come up with some crazy ideas, and you just,
Yeah, it's fun, man. I love it how I love how things just sort of flip on their head. I can, without revealing too much, I can remember you. We're texting back and forth, and I just said, "Man, this is crazy," and you said, "No, it's a typical day here."
He's doing well.
Yeah.
You guys workshopped that thing coming up together, didn't you, Matt? Jeremy said he called you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't want to say what it is because it's super, super, super creative on your part. But yeah, we workshopped hard the other day. It was fun.
Absolutely.
That's
I
cool.
love the suspense. I'm getting excited just thinking about the project right now.
Okay, I will come get you when the N64, or well, will you just knock on the door when you have the N64 answer?
Absolutely.
Rock and roll. Thanks, dude.
All right.
Thank you for making my gold N64. Appreciate it, Jeremy. You're making it, right?
He's gone.
We're not just.
He's gone.
Oh.
Yep, he's gone. Sorry.
I don't think he got the memo that he's supposed to make it for me. I would beat Lucifer. We can skip the formality and just get right to the gold 64.
Jeremy's awesome at making stuff. That thing you and him were talking about the other day,
Yeah.
I just walked in the garage a minute ago, and it's just halfway built. It's already in the physical form. It's amazing.
What he is talking about is going to answer questions that people who love the same stuff I do have been asking for a very long time. It's going to be very interesting to see what you come up with.
It's awesome. Yeah, so thank you, patrons of Smarter Every Day, because you're helping Jeremy and I work together, and it's amazing. Cool. Shall we go to the next question?
Yeah, I think we should.
So the answer to the Golden Fiddle, $755,000, 655. No, so
No, $75,000.
no, it was 755,000, wasn't it?
Get him back.
Hold on.
Get him back.
Jeremy, was it $755,000 or $75,000? Yeah, that was $755,000, $655.30.
Still not worth my soul. Excuse me, sir? Sir?
Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. What's up? Can I help you, sir? Welcome to the Twisted Knuckle. What can I get for you?
Two things. First, my name's Electric Master 23.
Okay.
And I just want to tell you that I also love that song from the original Robin Hood animated Disney classic.
Yeah.
And second, there's this word I'm thinking of.
Yeah?
It's like a spice or something. Stachiquan. Sustachiquan.
What? Sassafras?
Statue.
Is this
one?
Is this
I don't know. I'll know when I
Szechuan?
see it.
Szechuan?
Yes, Szechuan. That's it. What is that?
Is this literally the question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know what that is.
You're totally hitting me cold with this, seriously. But I think Sichuan is a province in China, and it's a specific type of food. It's like a culinary section of China. Am I right about that? Do you know?
That was really good for a bartender at a non-Chinese bar.
I think that's actually the answer.
Yeah, that is the answer. I think he did want to know. Some people guessed Saskatchewan, but to the best of my knowledge, that is not a spice. He wanted to know, Szechuan, and it's spelled really weird. There are two versions of the spelling, so that can make it confusing. But you're right. It's a province that is a little bit southwest of center in China. It's a pretty important one.
Okay.
Chengdu is the capital there.
Okay, here we go. I'm on Wikipedia. Yeah. Oh, you are too. There's no way you knew Chengdu was the capital of Sichuan.
I lectured Chinese history for multiple years.
Did you really?
Yeah, we've talked about this. I did Indian and Chinese history.
No, we actually haven't talked about this.
Okay, well, I did.
I thought you did the history of Western thought.
I did, but there were, I don't know, what was it, maybe 2 years that the guy who did Asian history was either overloaded or on sabbatical. So I got to do that stuff, and it was really fun.
Did you know this stuff, or did you have to brush up on it and prepare haphazardly?
I'd studied it. I mean, we covered all of this in undergrad, but I didn't have anything about any of this beyond undergrad. So I just spent a summer reading every book I could get my hands on and writing down notes and trying to learn it.
I don't know if you meant this to happen, but I would really like to know your thoughts about what's going on in Hong Kong right now. So I know you're up to speed.
That went from 0 to 60.
Yeah, I did. 0 to 100, rather. So Hong Kong was under British rule until 1997, and then they went to the one nation, two party. No, not two party. What do they call it? Two governments? What's the deal?
I don't know. I don't understand completely what's going on. What I know is that misinformation is enormously rampant. And it looks to me like what happened in Tiananmen Square in the 1980s is being aided by social media and electronic communication. So instead of one-time photographer with a camera trying to tell the world what's going on, it looks like everybody is telling the world what's going on, and no amount of misinformation campaign seems to be able to slow it down. And that's what I find really interesting. This is the first time we've seen a movement on this scale standing in opposition to something so significant in the age of social media. It's blowing up.
But what's interesting, though, is the government of China controls Chinese media. So no matter what we see here in the West about the protests in Hong Kong and these people that are trying to get their freedom, the people that are in mainland China, they're hearing a completely different story. That's fascinating.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter, right? Because they're going to control what people think on the inside, and that's going to affect their opinions on, well, let's just send the military in and just kill people, I mean, it's about to get bad, I think.
On the one hand, you want to say people are smarter than that. On the other hand, I think we are infinitely manipulatable.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a scary time, man. I mean, I am rooting for the people in Hong Kong for sure, right?
You know where I stand on stuff like this.
Yeah.
If people want to do something to weaken the levers of power, I will generally side with the people who want to weaken or distribute the levers of power, as opposed to the people who want to keep it consolidated.
What I think is interesting, though, is China's kind of backed into a corner, right? They've got these people that are just in all-out revolt against this extradition bill to take people back to mainland China. Do you know what's happening with the Uyghur people, the Muslim people over in the far western part of China? Have you been following that?
Just a little bit. I know that Hong Kong, it's not entirely China. I mean, on paper it's China, but it's still semi-autonomous, right?
Yeah, they have freedom of
And so-
speech and freedom of the press and things like that.
Right. So the extradition issue is a tricky one there, because if we're semi-autonomous, do we have to send people off to China to answer to the mainland government? I think that's one of the key questions, right?
Yeah, this actually boils back to the death penalty. I mean, in mainland China, they execute an incredible amount of people. And there's this thing that's happening in China right now called people are, quote, being disappeared. So,
Yeah.
like if you don't believe or say and all these things, then you'll just be disappeared. And they take you to these re-education camps, and a lot of people are never heard from again. It's a scary, scary thing. And this is happening particularly with the Uyghur people in Western China. So Uyghur, that's Uyghurs, the Uyghur people. I think that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're Turkish-speaking people. So these are people that are not ethnically Chinese. They're this kind of mix between Turkic and Mongolic people, according to Wikipedia here. And they're being assimilated into Chinese culture, and if they choose not to be assimilated, then they get disappeared. It's a big deal, man.
There's so much history behind what you're bringing up. That's a much, much longer conversation. So imagine this. I think this would be the analogous situation. Imagine that we create some kind of North American government. It's all unified, but it's all semi-autonomous. And in Ottawa, they've kind of got the headquarters for the whole thing, and they have some certain standards of cultural practice and thought. And so you have all these people who have clear living memory of a completely autonomous Wyoming, South Dakota, Alabama, whatever. And now here comes this new system, and the new system requires adherence to certain types of thought and speech. And, well, I guess people would really quickly miss the ability to say or think whatever they want, but it would only matter if there were teeth to those expectations. Well, let's say all of a sudden Ottawa starts saying if you're guilty or accused of a thought crime, you can be taken out of the relative safety of Alabama, where you have some cultural and community and legal support, and extradited to Ottawa, where you undergo trials. I don't actually think of Canada as being such a place, but for the sake of the analogy, we'll roll with it. So if you wanted to take a stand against the social controls and thought policing and the political capital score that we've talked about in the past, or social credit score, the easiest way to fight it would be to just take away the teeth. If you fight extradition, then Ottawa or the mainland China can chirp all they want about how they want things to be, but they can't do anything to anyone. And that's why I think they're digging in on that point.
Yeah, it's a big deal. You can be taken to China and disappeared. And they've drawn a line. The people of Hong Kong said, nope, not doing it, and we're going to fight.
Devil's advocate. China has a mega economy, and they're accomplishing that with a weird mix of government power and a free market, and intervening in the free market, even with violence where it's necessary. But I mean, China's got a crazy game going here. They really do.
Devaluing their currency, yes.
Oh, it's nuts. Again, too much to get into, but the games they're playing are crazy. But it's working. I mean, it produces a whole lot of money, and it supports a whole lot of people. If that government went away, what would happen? And is there any guarantee that a more Western notion of an economy like the people of Hong Kong might have would even work? So if the only way that economy can work is with enormous unity of thought and adherence not just to the government but to a single political party, is it maybe worth violence to suppress free thought and to make sure everybody's on board because the stakes are so high?
It's fun to see you try to bait me into your way of thinking. I like that. Thank you.
I'm trying to make the strongest case I can for
things you don't believe.
This kind of authoritarian behavior. I'm trying.
Well, one thing that's interesting to me is, as a culture, it seems to be more like ants. ants will do crazy things. Like in the local museum, there's these honeypot ants where your job is to sit around and hold fluid, and these other ants will come extract fluid from your stomach as needed. Sit there, do the fluid thing. Well, you know what I mean? So they come up with these tasks that these people are responsible for, and that is your role in society. Oh, it's time for you to die because we need a water bridge. Go ahead and walk out in the water and drown, and then we'll walk on your body. Ants are crazy like that. I don't know. Just the way they view the value of human life seems more like that to me than freedom.
Well, isn't that really the difference between what I think and what communism is?
Yes.
Obviously, I think I'm right, or else I'd be a communist. And then I would think communism is right, and people like me are absolutely crazy. So, of course, I'm biased.
Where are we at right now? We started.
I don't know. You decided you wanted to go and talk about the thing. Oh, collectivism. Yes. Here's the thing. Yeah, keeper of the pin. Getting it done again. I'm going to high-five myself. Nice job, Whitman. Collectivism, that's where the value sits for the communist mindset. We need to rally people to accomplish this collective good as defined by, well, in an ideal world, the masses. In reality, I think it's a much smaller group than that defines what is the greater good. Whereas on the libertine end of the spectrum, libertine versus authoritarian, the idea would be, no, the individual is the smallest minority, and you stick up for the individual and the small minority so they don't get trampled by the tyranny of the majority. So when we have these discussions about leftism, rightism, authoritarianism, libertarianism, one of the debates that I think goes to the sidelines that is really central to how you see the world is, do you tend more toward a collectivist view or do you tend more toward an individualist view? And so for you, you look at the ants and you're like, that doesn't make any sense, and what a terrible way to live. But for some, they'd say the ants are actually getting some things right, and we could use to take some cues from that. I strongly disagree. I think if the ants were in it voluntarily and they understood what the metaphor breaks down, voluntarism is where it's at, and that's my key thing. And I understand that people disagree with me, and I'd like to think that we can get along anyway.
Thank you, comrade.
Don't.
Jeremy's back. What's up, man?
How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing well?
I'm doing well. I have some eager anticipation, I have to admit. I want to know how rich I'm going to get. Tell me about my gold N64.
Well, I got to say, I had to fudge the Rumble Pack a little bit. It was hard to get some good dimensions on that. But I did put you a block in there to represent the Rumble Pack. I did not want to disappoint.
Thank you for that. Yeah, well, I wouldn't play that without a Rumble Pack, so, need accuracy.
Things definitely got better than the Fiddle.
Yes.
So we're looking at 46,750 grams, 0.62 grams if you want to get the exact number, and a grand total.
Oh, that's 3 times as much. Okay, I'm ready.
$2,294,520.92.
Oh, Johnny, with your fiddle of gold, I'm so much richer than you.
That's a lot more money, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, man, is that worth my soul? 2 point what did you say?
Let's just say 2.3 million.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I really like my soul.
So what is the price of gold now? You said it was $49 a gram.
$49 a gram.
What is that an ounce? Because it's like
1,100.
Oh, is it really? 1,100 an ounce. That's amazing. What's Bitcoin right now? You know what Bitcoin?
No, that was 1,100 question mark. I don't know that for sure.
Okay, so here we go. Gold per ounce. Google says currently it's 1,500.
Oh man,
Ooh.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Golly, Bitcoin to USD is.
I think 1,600 is the highest I've ever heard.
Okay, so it's
gold.
10,300 is what Bitcoin is right now. Interesting.
So that's come back down a little bit.
That has come down a little bit. Cool.
Interesting.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
You are welcome, gentlemen.
Do you have anything you'd like to add to the podcast? We're talking about it's a Twisted Knuckle episode where people ask random questions. Do you have any random questions?
No, I did email you a picture of our golden Nintendo 64.
Did you really?
Yes.
God, Jeremy's
I
the best.
really like you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
See you soon, buddy.
See you later. Bye.
All right, let me see that real quick. Can I just tweet it? Would that be good?
Obviously you should tweet that.
Gold. Did you just hold on? hop on the mic, dude. Did you literally just draw this?
No, I found a pretty good model and I made some minor modifications to get the final look that I wanted.
Looks great, man.
Yeah, I can't take all the credit. Yeah.
Send me the thing. Send me the thing. Send me the thing.
Okay, this is fantastic. Let me send this to Matt right now.
Thank you. That's what friends do.
Wow. Tell me when you get it, Matt.
Oh, here it comes. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Jeremy did that in like 15 minutes.
I can't take all the credit.
You're a wizard.
But I did find some decent models and I made the assembly and adjusted it a little bit. And then, of course, I changed the material to gold and all that good stuff.
Did you put the cable on the back?
No, the cable was already hanging there.
But you did put the rumble pack under the controller.
Yeah, I added a rumble pack. Like I said, I resized a few things, modified it a little bit.
Pound it.
All right, man. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your time, Jeremy. Hey, with this second spot here, I thought what we would do is just acknowledge and thank the people who took the time to write a review for the podcast itself. I mean, that's ultimately how more people start listening to the podcast is people tell them, word of mouth, right?
Yep.
So are you looking at the podcast reviews here on Apple Podcasts?
I just started over there. Wow. People are being really nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reviews.
Yeah, Christy Lynn Rainwater said, my whole family enjoys this podcast. It feels like hanging out with good friends, having a fun conversation. Admittedly, Destin and Matt can't actually hear our responses as the third chair, but it really feels like they can. The topics are interesting. The treatment of those topics is honest and fair. If you want something to listen to as you go about your day that is thought-provoking and also hilarious, give this one a listen. Dang, Christy.
Wow. Thanks. Okay, here's one from
So nice.
Meggie K. Meggie says, never thought a pastor and a man who makes missiles could be so funny. I test them, to be fair. Sincerely, Mom. P.S. Matt, I'm so proud of you, son. No matter how mean that Alabaman is to you, remember your mommy loves you. Maggie gets it.
Oh, Mom. Thanks for looking out for me. He can be mean.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Here's a good one by Sir Leland. Absolutely my favorite podcast. I get so excited every time they drop another episode. Challenging, thought-provoking, great balance of depth and levity, history and technology, faith and science. That was nice. Thank you very much.
Kidding. These are fun. Look, even the ones where we only got 3 stars are fun. This one, 12 Princess 13. Whole lot of Jesus. Well, that's probably fair, isn't it? Pretty good show. Okay, well, it was 3 out of 5. So pretty good. The hosts cover some interesting topics, but be prepared to wade through an awful lot of Christianity. It's become a sort of game for me now. I try to figure out how they're going to shoehorn Jesus into a conversation about baked beans. Yes.
About baked beans?
Uh-huh.
So what brand of baked beans would you think Jesus would eat?
I guess that's how you're going to do it. Oh, man. Thank you, 12 Princess 13. And you know what? It says a lot about you that even though we are unapologetically, even though it's not what the podcast is about, yes, we are both Christians and it does come up from time to time. And you are a good sport if you do not share those same views. So you're awesome. I hope you are happy that Destin got Jesus and baked beans together for you.
That's pretty good. Noise podcast. That's a pretty good one. I like that one. Nice. Anyway, the point is, thank you for everybody that took the time to go leave reviews. We really appreciate it. And thank you for people that just tell other people about the podcast.
Yep, strongly agree. What more can I say? Thank you. I really like our audience.
I do too.
I do. I enjoy my interactions. It's a community that big and the interactions are such a high percentage awesome. It's a pretty awesome thing. Thank you. If you feel like leaving a review, we wouldn't argue. If you don't, we also won't argue. But thanks to everybody who has.
Yep. Thanks. And we both have the Twitter login on our phones, so you can hit us up at NoDumbQs. We check that every once in a while, so give us a holler.
Sounds good.
Where are we at?
Oh, you know what else is cool about Chengdu? I'm pretty sure that's where it is. There's a tributary of is that the Yellow River? No, it'd be the Yangtze River right there, I think. Don't quote me on what river it is. I think it's the Min River running into the Yangtze, but it might be the Yellow. Whatever the case, there is this engineering marvel from the ancient world that happened there. Ancient Chengdu would flood all the time. And so, I don't know, it was before the time of Jesus, so it's got to be more than 2,000 years ago. a family sat down and was like, all right, we need to design an irrigation system that redirects and diverts water naturally with no dams to make it so this whole valley can be usable. And they still use it to this day. That system is still what makes Chengdu function. No dams.
What did they do?
They dug channels and canals that came off for... So basically, they not only addressed their flooding problem, but they expanded their arable land through canal irrigation. They divided the river. Yeah, I might be making stuff up now, man. I think they divided the river into an upper and lower section and created a series of maybe islands that are either in the city or near the city. And so it's just basically a series of overflow channels is how I understand it. I don't know if there are any kind of locks or gates or anything like that, but what I know, it's over 2,000 years old. It still works, and I think it's like the biggest project of this type anywhere that doesn't involve a physical dam.
Dang, that's amazing.
Yeah, we're allowed to look things up in advance. I should have done that because I undersold it a lot. It's really, really cool.
I just tweeted the N64, the golden N64.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Hey, is this the Twisted Knuckle?
Yes, sir, it absolutely is. What can I do you for?
Okay, my name is Meteor Cousin. Meteor Cousin. My name is Meteor Cousin, and I have a question. What does a doctor look for when asking a man to cough while holding his particles?
Is that literally the question? Particles?
That is literally the question. What does a doctor
You came into a bar.
look for when asking a man to cough while holding his particles?
Wow. So many undercarriage questions in this bar. Well, that's a hernia check, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
There are multiple kinds of hernias, but a hernia is basically when a little bit of your intestine is slipping out of place. Like the reason it kind of hurts when you cough is because that jostles that, I don't know, it's not a laceration. I mean, what do you call it?
My understanding is it's a hole in the fascia. We shouldn't talk about this. We're not doctors.
Well, let's do our best. You came to a bar. You asked a bartender. You're going to get a bartender level answer.
Okay, so my understanding is like near the abdominal wall, there's this stuff called fascia, or this barrier called fascia, and that's what kind of keeps all your guts in. And if there's a weak part in the fascia, then some of your guts can slip out.
Right.
Yeah, that can get bad. When they check you underneath, they're checking for the cough. You know, you're increasing the pressure on the inside of your abdomen, and you would be able to detect some of that internal pressure being pushed out, or, you know, your guts being pushed out.
Do you know the names of all the different types of hernias?
I do not. Do you?
Yes, off the top of my head. Ready?
Yeah.
Epigastric, bladder, strangulated, lumbar hernia, Richter's hernia, obstructed, inguinal, and direct.
I'm very impressed that you did that off the top of your head.
I did, and do you know how I know it?
How do you know it?
I know it from Weird Al's song Living with a Hernia.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, he covered...
You knew that off the top of your head?
Yeah, it's a parody of Living in America.
Yeah.
See how it works? Living with a hernia. It's funny. It's funny in the 80s.
Really?
But yeah, at the end, he does you may not be familiar with the common types of hernias that you could get. So just settle down, let me clue you in, and then he goes through and he lists them all. And they kind of chant them out together. And I know all the words from that Weird Al album. And there we go. There we go. Epigastric, bladder, strangulated, lumbar hernia, Richter's hernia, obstructed, brittle.
That's impressive. So you...
I forgot incomplete, but ironically, I forgot incomplete, thus making my list incomplete.
So you know Weird Al Yankovic songs to the point where, like, you've memorized lyrics 3 minutes into a 3-minute and 20-second song. Like, you know them.
Not all of them, but some stuff just sticks in your head. That's a Slumdog Millionaire answer right there.
That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive. Awesome.
Yeah, well, it's good to know all the different types of hernias that you could get. But I don't know exactly how they all work. So the point is, when I heard this song for the first time, that's when I figured out what the whole turn your head and cough thing was a reference to.
You were the smartest bartender I've ever met. Thank you so much.
Thank you for stopping by.
This was fun, dude. Yeah, I mean, some of these questions were a little...
Wait.
What?
Pardon me, my name's Little Everdoll. We can't be done here yet. I have a question. It's hyper important. I need answers now.
Hold on, I'm talking to my friend
Now.
Matt here.
Now.
Okay, what? What's your question?
Okay, what is English
We're closing.
in other countries?
What?
So in other countries, what is English? Let me say it a different way.
Okay, yeah.
What is English in other countries?
Was this?
Let me spell it out. You're obviously confused.
Yes.
So here in America, the class that teaches you general grammar for good 7 years just called English, like any language.
Right.
So what do they call that in other countries? Like, for example, if you were a child in Germany, what would they call grammar classes? German?
Oh, it's a... Okay. Okay, I'm with you now. I don't know. I think it would just be grammar or diction. Yeah?
Well, like, let's say you're a student in Mexico. Do you take Mexican?
No, you don't. Mexican or Mexican people, that's the demonym for the people that live in Mexico.
Bartenders are smart.
Oh, or it's an adjective for an entire culture. No, it's not. It'd be Spanish.
You take German in Germany, right? It's still German. It's just grammar. You just call it German.
It'd be Deutsch, wouldn't it?
Well, I guess that's what you call it there. Yeah. Allemand.
No, they don't call German Allemand in Germany.
Well, they used to.
No. Well, no, that was the Alemanni. We covered this.
Yeah, it was just a long time ago. Good job remembering the Alemanni.
You have Auslanders. Auslanders are people that are from out of Germany. What do you call people that are, you have, I guess it's just Deutsch and Auslanders, right?
Yeah, and I think Alemanni had to have been a Latin term because it ends in I, so that's, yeah, I don't know what they called themselves back in the day. Whatever the case, I just like the way that question was phrased.
What is English in other countries? That's pretty good. It is pretty good. Okay, are we landing the plane now? I think that was a good one to end on. That was a good one to end on.
Yeah, we need to because I bought an old rundown house and it needs my careful attention.
Does it really? Is everything going well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like anytime you buy an old house that needs your attention, there are some surprises you didn't see coming. Maybe like holes below the bathroom that drip straight into your garage on a whole bunch of your stuff that you had stored in there.
Oh,
so, things like that.
That's not
That
good.
need attention. Yeah.
So what state did you end up in for the third chair?
I'm in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
That's awesome, man. That's where you want to be.
It really is. It's where I want to be. Well, no. Here's the truth. There are about 5 places that I really want to be, and this is a great place to tick as many boxes as I could and still be able to get to the other places I want to be as often as possible.
That's good, man. Well, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I love it. I loved where I was. I love where I'm at now. I think it's going to be really fun.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
And thanks for stopping at the Twisted Knuckle.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. I'm still unfamiliar with the menu, so I will be back.
Okay, sounds good. Have a good one, buddy.
Later, man.
Later.